All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another panel discussion hosted by the Centers for Black Excellence. We are so excited to have you joining us for another necessary conversation that we are talking about within the Black community. These are some of our internal conversations. At the Centers for Black Excellence, we believe that we are right on the precipice of something amazing for our community. There's never been a time like this before, and we really want to be able to take full advantage of the momentum that we have right now. And just like we are calling attention to the way other people are treating us, we also need to spend some time talking about some things with how we deal with and treat one another. So we are having these panel discussions every Tuesday. We have already tackled some very important issues. Tonight, we are talking about another vitally important and critical issue. Tonight, we are talking about the power of unity in the Black community. The power of unity in the Black community. And as always, I have some incredible panelists that are here with me so that we can really flush out this conversation. So let me begin today by starting off. First, let me tell you a little bit about our organization, the Centers for Black Excellence. We are focused on promoting unity, education, and the financial empowerment of the Black community. This is what we're all about. And so we're doing this in a number of ways. We are creating the nation's largest monthly donor pool made up of us putting in little amounts of money every month. And we are taking that money and we are providing scholarships for students. We are promoting Black unity in communities across this country. We are doing educational community forums, and we are making it possible for low-income Black families to achieve the dream of home ownership, thereby creating generational wealth. We are not playing. We are doing big things, and we're doing them because of you. So thank you so much for your support. Tonight, as we discuss this topic, the power of unity in the Black community, I'm so happy to have some incredible leaders on the call with me today. So let me begin by starting off by introducing one of our first panelists by the name of Priscilla Harris. She is the co-founder of an incredible organization known as the Love Gifts Team Program. She is an entrepreneur. She is a training and development professional, a motivational speaker, and is very, very passionate about us as a people coming together. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to you one of our first presenters, Miss Priscilla Harris.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tian, for allowing me to be a part of this panel discussion tonight. I hail from Stockbridge, Georgia, and I am so excited about this conversation. Um, I want to kick it off by just start talking about what is unity and what it really means. If you look it up in the dictionary, it just means the collective effort of many for a common purpose and a common path. And so it's nothing foreign. It's nothing that we have not seen or experienced in our lives, whether it's unity in your home, unity in any type of organization that you may be passionate about, unity in a plan and a purpose and a thought pattern that you might be involved in. One of the things that when I was doing my research about this topic, the power of unity in the Black community, the first thing that came to my mind is who told us that we weren't united? Because think about it, we are united in certain things. It's just a matter of what are we united behind. When I think about the unity in the Black community from the time I was a child until an adult right now, I think about the fact that most 9 out of 10 Black people or brown people are people of faith. So we're united in our religion, in our faith, our spirituality. We know that that's 9 out of 10 of us know that there is a God, whether we have a Christianity or a Muslim religion or any of those any religion that's out there, we all rally behind that. Another thing is our culture. We are a people of culture. We are eccentric in the things that we do. We're creative in the things that we do, and believe it or not, our unity in our culture kind of sets the path of what society wants to be. We talk about that all the time. They always are trying to be like us. Why is that? Because we're united in our culture and our uniqueness. And last thing I want to say, I want to leave room for everyone else, but also with all of those positive aspects of what we're united behind, we're also united behind oppression, because all of us know that we're being oppressed. All
Mm.
of us know that we're constantly bombarded with a society that wants to demean us. So it's not something that we're not aware of, like out the blue. Like, what are we surprised? Yes, we know that we're being oppressed. So I'm a type of person that takes words, because I think words are very critical and they shape our thoughts and our actions. So when I looked at unity, I thought about, for an acronym, United. Unity stands for a united network of individuals trusting yourselves amongst ourselves. Think about that. A network of individuals trusting yourself amongst ourselves, because I think trust is a critical aspect of why the unity has declined amongst our community.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. And you actually said a mouthful there. We're going to jump back into some of those things that you said so we can really dive into those things. 'Cause you did mention that trust has been broken within our
Mhm.
community. And that's definitely something that we need to dive into. But before we do, I want you to check out some of our other incredible panelists. I made sure that I got this on my phone because the accolades, I tell you, our people are amazing. I'm honored to have her as a panelist. Dr. Lisa Sistrunk, EDD, better get her accolades right, is a human development professional and the CEO of DH Elevation Consulting in Atlanta, Georgia, an Atlanta, Georgia-based firm. Her over 30 years of successful and valuable expertise in interpersonal development and leadership help her infuse research, proven, and outcome-based information with practicality in every coaching and facilitation session. Now, in addition to this, as if, that was not impressive enough, in addition to this, in addition to her proficiency as an adult educator and a certified master trainer and trainer of trainers with local and national organizations, she is an accomplished source of technical assistance and program development, obtaining her doctoral degree in organizational leadership and development, and has her master's in adult education. And I've literally just hit the tip of the iceberg. I'm so excited to have her as one of our panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the esteemed Dr. Lisa Sistrunk.
Good evening, everyone. Tian, thank you so much for having me be a part of these very vital, very critical conversations and being on this wonderful panel with my sisters who are just amazing in their own right as well. So I am Dr. Lisa, and I am a life coach and a human development trainer. And, it is this whole thing about the power of unity, and Priscilla definitely hit it. I think she was like maybe looking at some of my notes or something, but she hit it when she was talking about trusting. And I think that the power that we have starts with us. And we have to trust ourselves and trust others, because the systems in culture, in the mainstream culture, have disenfranchised us for so many years, decades, and centuries. We started looking outside of ourselves for what we thought was quality, when we really had quality within ourselves, within our abilities. And so we started looking outside, and not to say that there isn't quality outside, but we went outside before we looked inside. And so that was and continues to be kind of the beginning of the disenfranchisation of ourselves, the pulling apart, and the let's go over here because this is better, or let's go over there because, every generation wants their children to have better, to be more successful. And somewhere along the lines, better has meant outside of us. in too large of a thought process, a pattern, a mindset of our people. And so when we do that and we go outside of ourselves, that waters down what's inside. And so we can't spend the dollars inside and outside if we're taking most of them outside. You know,
right.
and if we want to go to the communities over here and the communities over there, which there are nice communities over there and there, but we had some nice communities in here too. So we have to trust ourselves first, individually trusting ourselves. And somewhere along the lines, we've stopped doing that in whole, where my trusting of myself shows up in Tion, and it shows up so that Tion is like, oh, I could trust myself too. And Cece, I could trust myself too. And Priscilla, I could trust myself too. And then that spreads in your house and it goes from the house to the community, you know? So, so we have to have unity within our own self first.
Wow, that is so good. What an amazing way to kind of start kicking this conversation off. I'm over here taking notes because I'm like, I don't want to forget. That was good. We're going to talk about that. But before we dive any deeper, I definitely want to make sure that we introduce our third amazing panelist, Cece, as we now affectionately call her, because y'all going to put some respect on her name. Cece. Saterica, as she had to teach me how to say her name properly, because I was gonna mess it up like half of y'all were. But I believe names deserve respect. So you learn how to say somebody's name so you can give it the proper respect that it's due. But she told us that only her mama called her that, and everybody else called her Cece. So Cece Rockwell is a creative storyteller who uses her strategic mind and strong organizing skills and helps to help creatives, startups, and nonprofits achieve their vision. Born and raised in Dallas, she's not a stranger to the obstacles creatives and entrepreneurs of color face when chasing their dream. When Cece isn't behind the screen saving the day, you can find her pushing her book, The Eye of the Panther, which I'm getting, or watching anime. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our third great panelist, Cece Rockwell.
Thank you so much for having me come out. This is my first virtual panel, so I'm definitely excited to get back online and start talking about things. I guess I would have to go back to my book, The Eye of the Panther, because this is where my version of unity comes in. I think it's important for the Black community kind of realize our differences and then kind of how those differences affect the unity that we are trying to accomplish. I always say that there's 5 principles that I personally believe in that's represented throughout most of any artwork, not just my book, is that it takes a vision. Doesn't matter who that visionary is, if they have the vision, I think you can move forward with that. I always say, I call it operations, but it really just takes a plan. However you choose to implement that plan using your talents and your strengths, then to me, you're doing your part. The next one is financial awareness. However that looks like to you, if that's building that generational wealth, if that's just learning how to self-budget, if it's just understanding how capitalism affects us, then I think that's another thing. And then the last 2 things I say is innovation, which is bridging the gaps between the generations. You know, myself, I was the only child, grew up around a lot of adults, so I have no problem communicating with my elders, and my elders have no problem communicating with me. But I feel like younger people who aren't comfortable, or maybe, you know, older generations who may not understand the younger generations, there's always that conflict, and we can never come together to decide on a solid plan. And then the next I always say is it's self-awareness. And on an individual level, but then also on the Black community level, to just know where you came from, where you're going, and understanding how you personally play a part in that, even if it's not on a huge level. I think so many people get into the mindset that they have to be the next Martin Luther King, or they have to be the next Malcolm X, and that's definitely something that I've struggled with in the past. But I've recently, and I always tell people this, you just have to do what you can do within your power. You don't have to move rooms. It can just be one person that you're moving. And as long as you're doing your part and you have good intentions, then that's good enough. So those are kind of my visions for how I see the Black community uniting around those 5 efforts in their own way.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. I can already tell that tonight's going to be a phenomenal conversation. So let's get ready to dive in, y'all. There's a couple of things that were talked about even in the opening statement. And I'm like, my goodness, there was so many jewels. So let's start diving into some of these jewels that some of you guys said. I think one of the first things that I would love that we can try to talk about is trust. I find that in so many areas. I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I find that I have friends of multiple cultures, and I'm wondering if some of you guys have had the same experiences. I have friends in multiple cultures, right? As an entrepreneur, when I talk business, a new business opportunity, a new business endeavor, when I talked about that with people of other cultures, they're always looking to see where the merit is, where the opportunity is, how they could potentially get involved. When I talk about it with people of my own skin tone, we're looking for the scam. We're looking for how you trying to play me, how you trying to get over on me. We always expect the worst. So not only does that apply with financial endeavors, but it seems like that's kind of our first go-to response many times. Whenever we talk about change or growth or development or advancement, there seems to be a certain mistrust or a cynicism that exists amongst our people. Have you seen this? Have you witnessed this? What are your thoughts?
Well, let me kind of jump in here. So I would say I have seen it, but I haven't seen it as much as people trying to work together. There are, what I've seen is when it comes to when I started my business 8 years ago, I remember people would say, "Oh yeah, I want to work with you. Oh yeah, okay, I can train on that too." And I would say, "Okay, great, we're going to collaborate. This is going to be really wonderful." And they would, and I'd say, "Okay, well, here, you do this and I'll do this and all of this." And they were like, "Oh, well, I thought you would do it, and then you'd let me know, and then I can just join in." No, we're collaborating. Everybody has to have a part. And this went on for a while, and I was really confused as to what was going on. So it wasn't so much as there was a scam, but it was like, okay, you get it all set up, and then I'm gonna, not necessarily ride on your coattails, but I'm just gonna join in, and we're just gonna share this experience.
Yeah, you do the work, and let's share the glory.
Yes. But lately, and I would probably say the past 3 years, I have been very thrilled to find there have been more of us who are saying, let's support one another. Let's really work together and really like let's really hammer it out. And whether it comes to fruition or not, we're really giving it a try. And there is responsibility on each end. And I hate it when people say that Black people can't work together or Black women can't work together. I have worked with Black women most of my life. Okay. And we can work together. Now, I think part of the thing people say that is because they're like, "Oh, well, we're cousins. You're supposed to give me a discount," or such and such. It's like they're looking for the,
Yeah, give me the hookup.
The hookup. We have that familiarity, so it's like, "Oh, you're not going to charge me what you charge other people," but we'll go to other ethnicities' businesses and don't question.
Pay them full price.
Complain about it though, but like, "Man, I had to give them all of this." Well, wait a minute. But when I wanted to do something, you automatically started, and so that I think that's a familiarity thing. But I also think there is the trust in there, like we were talking about before. Okay, well, let me do it over there because theirs I know is quality. And somewhere along that line, how many people know that when you say, "Oh, that's the real McCoy," I don't even know if people say that anymore, but the real McCoy, meant that was the real thing. And McCoy was actually a Black man who his products, the things that he made were such good quality. People wanted a real McCoy. I don't want a knockoff. I want the real thing because I know it's going to last.
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Of course.
Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna get my Iyanla Vanzant on because until you get to the root, we will never actually make progress to heal the divide and the trust factor. To me, the root is branding. I've been saying that for years, branding. When you have been branded um, by, I did a research and it said the US media has branded African Americans specifically with such negativity that people in foreign lands, they did a study in Taiwan and asked them, well, what do you think of Black people in America? They automatically said they were criminals, they were negative, they were. So, in order for us to get to the root of building trust, we have to renew our minds. We have to deal with the fact that we have been branded for over 400 years that we were less than, that we are not trustworthy, that we are criminals, that we are scams, that we're lazy, we're negative. You cannot, if you tell someone that over and over and over and over again, even within your own family, I'm gonna look at you like, okay, because I've been brainwashed to to be told that this is who I am, this is what the type of people we are. Uh, Not that we were those people, but this is what was branded. That we have to have a renewing of the mind, like Dr. Lisa said. There has been this transition into an awakening and awareness of who we really are. Like, we have to shut off these things that were told to us that was supposed to be fact, what's
Yeah.
supposed to be true. Don't tell me a Santa Claus comes down a roof and every year to give me presents when that's a lie. So I
Mm.
think that to get to where we're trying to go with the Black community, and I see the evolution of it happening, is that
Yeah.
we have to walk in our truth, our organic selves, and our truth of who we really are. We are queens. We are kings. We are royalty. I say that all the time, melanin royalty. Michelle Obama was the bomb at that inauguration. Amanda Gorman, she was the bomb. I mean, and I think the more that we see ourselves in others in those high positions, that's validating what we know inside of us.
Yeah.
So it's a pulling out. Let me just say this one thing. Um, uh, I had purchased my first home about 15, 20 years ago, and the builders did some shady stuff, and I wound up having to sue them. And I had a check for a large amount of money. So I'll go into the bank. And so I'm carrying all of this money. And so they rushed me over to this investment banker. And I'm sitting here telling him, okay, I have a plan. I want this money to go here, this, and that. And he's looking at me and he says to me, why are you working for someone? Do you not know that you are amazing? That was the first time it ever even dawned on me that I can have my own business.
Wow.
When we're not told, we're told that no, you are to get an education to work for someone, to be
Mhm.
someone pretty much slave. Until we invoke into each other our worth, that's where that trust comes from. Um, we're never going to get there. I'm going to say this last thing. I'm sorry. I know I'm just talk, but this is really important. My spiritual mother used to tell me all the time, you cannot instruct, direct, or lead anyone that you have not built a relationship with. If you're
Mhm.
going to instruct me, because it takes away that thought of what's she trying to get out of me? What is he trying to get out of me? When you have built a relationship with me, I will listen to you all day and value what you're telling me.
Yeah. Yeah. And these are some valuable points because you touched on something that actually Dr. Lisa had even said as well, which goes into value.
Mm-hmm.
We have bought into the things that were said about us for so long, have infiltrated our own minds. It's not just, it went from white people telling black people how worthless they are, useless they are, how little value they have. And it transitioned to black people believing about black people that they were worthless and their work had no value. And Dr. Lisa, like you said, we got to the point where we defined good the way they defined good.
Yes.
Right. Right.
And so good, according to them, there was nothing good in our communities. So whenever we got a little something or wanted something, we said, well, once a white person is involved, then it's official. And even to this day, when you build a business, when it's black people building a business, we still treat it like it's a second-rate business.
That's right.
Right? Oh, that, you know, they hustling. Okay, I see you trying to do your thing. I see you. But when a white person is supporting, backing, or involved in your business, you're like, oh, you official. Man, I was official before you
That's
knew
right.
white people were involved.
That's
I was
right.
official, but it didn't appear that way because we have internalized exactly the things that they have said about us for so long. We've actually internalized them and now subconsciously see them about each other.
Yep.
Creating a mistrust of working together, the quality of the work that we'll do, being able to accomplish anything. I talk to other people in the community, and I you know, sometimes you gotta be careful who you share your dreams and goals with.
That's right.
And I start sharing some stuff, and they're like, we can't do no stuff like that. We ain't never gonna be able to. That is what was said about us, but that
Right.
is not what is true. So listen, let me go here because I want everybody to kind of jump on this. What, in your opinion, what happened to the spirit of unity that was so prevalent, like in the black community, like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, that sense of unity that existed there, the Black Panthers and how they unified, especially urban communities and neighborhoods, or even the galvanized effort that we've seen across the country when it comes to the civil rights movement. What happened to that type of broad sense of unity across the black community? Does it still exist? What happened to it? Cece, why don't you jump in here, girl? I feel like this is right along the line of your books.
So, you know, and, you know, a lot of people, when I say this, they don't like the way I say it. So let me make sure I frame this right. I think it has a lot to do with the civil rights and integration. When you think about it, when we were segregated, we had no choice but to go to each other's business, to spend time with each other. And I think that trust was just automatically instilled there because we had no one else to trust outside of ourselves. However, once you get in integration into, you know, we did it economically, we did it socially. Now as Black people who have been shut out from so much for so long, you know, from going to quality stores, you know, from going to quality anything, we got the opportunity. And then when you go actually get to experience quality, then you go back to your neighborhood where your grocery store, you know, might have spoiled milk, or it might not be the best, or the textbook's not the best. Of course, you're going to continue to choose to go to the place with quality. And then lose it if you're not really thinking of, well, why is it these differences? Then you're looking at it like, well, these white people are figuring it out with their businesses. Why wasn't our businesses never this way? Because we never approached that from an economic standpoint at first. We approached it from a social standpoint. And then once we got that social equity, I guess you want to call it, we didn't realize, like, they were ahead of us economically. We were just struggling to make it. And I don't think we gave ourselves enough grace after integration.
So there was a huge movement, separate but equal. And I know that it was kind of like that constant struggle between integration and separate but equal. There were those who said, no, I'm with Cece. I don't want to integrate with you. I want you to just give us the same kind of resources you've been giving them. And then there were others that said, no, we need to kumbaya and get rid of the divide. So, all right, that's awesome feedback, Cece. Dr. Lisa, what do you think? What happened?
Yeah, that, you know what, that conversation is starting to be had more now that we weren't given that equal. There wasn't that opportunity when we tried to make our opportunity, Black Wall Street and all of that. You know, then they bombed it. They were like, no, we're not going to do that. Y'all are too powerful. You know,
right? We said
separate,
not better. You can't
exactly.
Better.
Right. Right. For at Black Wall Street in Tulsa, I mean, they had their own airline, they had their own bus system, schools, banks, all of that, movie theaters, all of that. You think about Sweet Auburn Avenue, you think about the Zora Neale Hurston Festival, and even no relation, but the Sistrunk Festival that they have down in Fort Lauderdale, where they like look at equal opportunity. They've been doing this for, I think, since the early 70s, but trying to do economic opportunity, all of those things, all of those we have to rebuild or try and, in some instances scrap to get it, because it wasn't given to us. Given to a very small few, if that, and they were the exception. And then those were the people who spoke white, or who you think you're white, or all of that, because other people were left behind. And it really is a systematic thing. So you think about the welfare system, right? So you have the welfare system, and back in the day when the welfare system first started, and it went on for a while, into the 90s. But when they changed it around, but if there was a man in the house, you could not get public assistance. Right. And so what women would do was, okay, they're coming over, hide your dad's clothes. Nobody say anything about your dad. Nobody talk about him. You got to go and stay the night with your brother, stay 2 nights with your brother, or whatever. And then after a while, and if they found any hint of a man, then you were off public assistance. So if you've got to be out the house because you know that your worker is coming over, within the next 2 weeks. So now dad is out the house. Everybody is listening to mom. Mom is the go-to. And we're telling our children, your daddy doesn't live here. Don't let them know your daddy lives here. So they're hearing this. So they're going to the mom all the time. So that brings a split in there. So then if you've got some relationship issues, because, relationships involve people and people got issues, right? So you got some relationship issues. Well, look, I don't need you because the system is giving me money. So you could just go stay with your brother. Yeah. So all of that pulls us apart. And so all of these systematic things that have happened because the power of who we are, the power of the unity, and really it's the power of all people of all ethnicities, right? You get together, you can form some big things if you believe in yourself. But for whatever reason, and we know the reason, but for whatever reason, whenever Black people of African descent get together, all of a sudden, now what? Crack cocaine is in our community, and it came from Venezuela or Colombia or wherever else. And who brought it here? Because we ain't been over there.
We didn't go get it.
And all of a sudden, 3 strikes, you're out, and they are out. And so these things, when we've, and so, life is cyclical. So we have these moments where we come together and things are going, all right, cool. Right. And even now with COVID, there's a store, because it sells soap and shampoos, it was considered an essential item store, and it has clothes and all of that. And they have done, it's a Black owned store, and they have done really well because of COVID, because they stayed in the community, and that's where people went. They were like, well, I can't go across town. I got this. And they have done really well. And thankfully, while things are opening up some, they're still doing really well. When we have to look within, we can do things within. We can't get distracted. And I'm not saying don't go over there and buy the Porsche from, Bubba when you can buy the Porsche from Boo Boo, or you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But Leroy, let me say Leroy. But like, okay.
I'm about to say Boo Boo.
I'm sorry. I know, not Boo Boo. Leroy. No, we ain't buying it from. We're buying it from Leroy. Okay. So we're gonna buy it from Leroy. We don't have to just go down there on Peachtree Street just because it's a nice shiny place. The Porsche is the Porsche, and they're good Porsches.
Right. Yeah. No, that's powerful. Like you said, I even think about that a lot. I think about how many people have attempted to start small retail shops, clothing stores, inside the local community. And we know that place exists, but I'm going to go to Walmart. I know that the local guy tried to open up the hardware store, but his hammer is $2 and Walmart's hammer is $1.29. So we're willing to drain the finances out of our community over 70 something cents rather than supporting our community and feeling like the slight extra expense is worth it. And again, that comes from the poverty mindset, because we've had to figure out how to rub two nickels together in order to survive. So we've had the mindset that that 71 cents matters. So I'm sorry, Black-owned business, my bad. I'm sorry I can't help you support your business because I need that 71 cents to put food in my kids' mouths. And we've kind of grown up with that poverty mentality. Even when we're not struggling that hard,
Right.
we still maintain that same mentality.
Right. And I kind of had to check myself on this, because I love going to these little small towns when I'm on vacation or just driving around. Oh, cute little town. Oh, let me go sit there in that bistro and eat over there. Let me go over here. But wait a minute. We have bistros in our community. We have stuff in our community. So why am I supporting this little cute community when I can support this community here? Not necessarily why, because, if I'm on vacation, whatever. But I can also support what we have here. We'll see somebody else's thing as cute, and our stuff, it's not so cute, even though it's got a line going around the corner because the food is really good, right?
Yeah. And this is another reason why we have to fight for financial empowerment, because sometimes there are plenty of individuals in our communities that are ready, willing, and able to open up stores and businesses. They're just concerned that the community wouldn't support them. That if they open the same thing in a different kind of a neighborhood, they would get support from that neighborhood. But on the other hand, there are a number of us in these same communities. See, remember, in a lot of predominantly Black, especially urban communities, we own very little in the areas where we live. Everybody sees the Black community as a gold mine. All right. People come into the Black community and open up all kinds of stuff in the Black community and drain the Black dollars from out of the Black community. We go, listen, how many of us know the Chinese food menu by heart? Right? Where you go get your nails done? Who worked there? Where you buy your hair from? Who worked there? All these different places that exist within our communities. And then look at the businesses themselves. Who owns those buildings, right? The little convenience stores and stuff you go to. And now look at where we live. Who owns those buildings? So people come into the Black community because they know there's money there.
Yeah.
And then they get our money and it goes out of the community and we don't get any real benefit from it. And we're like, okay, I understand that, but how do I get to the place where I have access to the money to go open this building, go open the business, buy the building, buy the home? So it becomes this cyclical pattern. That's why one of the things that we're doing at the Centers of Black Excellence is creating that nation's largest monthly donor pool, so we can turn around and pull these resources together, go into our communities and start owning our stuff, because that's one of the big issues. Okay, awesome stuff, guys.
Can I comment real quick?
Of course.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that you have to be intentional. You have to be purposeful. Right here in Stockbridge is a Black-owned hair supply store. She's an amazing woman, and I intentionally will not go anywhere else but to her beauty shop. We have to make the choice. We have to get out of our fairy tale land thinking that others are going to support us and help us. No, we have to support and help ourselves. If we show that we have value and we have worth and we know who we are and we're proud people and we're excellent in the things that we do, that's gonna, how they used to say, if you want somebody to treat you good, you have to treat yourself good first. It's the same concept. The question you asked was, do we still have that energy to, just like Black Wall Street and things that we do, just like I had to write the names down, Alicia Scott and Renee Walters. Those are the two young ladies who collaborated with 17 other families that bought that 97 acres in Georgia, that they're creating their own safe haven. That was birthed out of the fact of the police brutality and just feeling like we need to have a space where we can feel right, that we're safe. So not only did these families come together to purchase these acres of land, their mindset is to populate it with us, police officers, mayors, doctors, and things of that nature. So the spirit of Black Wall Street is there. The thing about it, though, that I think that we have to be open to is that society is changing. When I talk to my nieces and nephew, I'm coming out of the era where I saw the racism, I felt the racism, and I do have some rage in me. I'm like James Baldwin, I got rage. So, and I have to check that because my nieces and nephews that are coming up, they have close relationships with white people, Asian people. There is more of a collaboration on the younger generation than it is our generation. So we have to have grace to say, yes, although the plight of the Black community is great, but we have to be open to be understanding that times have changed. So that spirit is there for us to come to collaborate, come together, and you're seeing in pockets of places of what people are doing across this nation and even the world. Even like Shonda Land, I had to bring up Bridgerton. I mean, just to do a series, I love the series. Just to do a series that from a period piece that was color blind, that you had all of these typical period pieces, dramas are white. They're all white. So to have one that had color, I saw myself in it. I saw myself. I could dream and imagine myself being in that period because I saw myself. So I just wanted to make that point that the spirit and the energy of that Black Wall Street type environment is there, and it's even growing as the years go on. That's my belief.
That's fantastic. So listen, since we are talking about unity in the Black community, let me ask you, because you mentioned something, Priscilla, in what you said. Cece, I definitely want you to jump in on this because you've got some great insight in your book that I'm definitely buying. Definitely.
Cece, you're gonna have to write something for us and send it to us.
Yeah,
sorry.
I have copies. Everything.
I'm gonna keep
right
plugging your book, and then at the end, I'm gonna keep plugging your book, and everybody's gonna be like, "What is this book?" And then I'm gonna tell everybody what the book is at the end because I'm gonna plug that thing like crazy. Okay, so with the amount of diversity that exists amongst us, we are not one thing, right? The Black community is this vast, diverse community of individuals. So around what areas do you believe Black people should unify, right? In other words, in your opinion, what does Black unity look like? So Cece, you've been a little too quiet for me, so I'm gonna throw it right to you first. What does Black unity even look like?
In my book, they're still fighting over that. They have very different views. They're called the Founding Order, and they're the 5 pillars that I named is basically 5 characters that reach each pillar. I think what it looks like is more so respect and understanding, probably a little bit of minding your own business too. I always say 95% of the world's problems can be solved if people mind their own business. So I don't think religion, I don't think your sexuality are some things that we can ignore amongst ourselves and let people live their lives and then really just unite on issues. You don't have to dictate no one else's personal life or opinion. We all know that we won't. I always tell people I'm no longer fighting white supremacy. I'm actually overcoming white supremacy. So we all want to overcome white supremacy. We don't have to look a certain way to do it. These high expectations that we keep putting on ourselves. I always tell when people ask me, like, I'm not an activist, and it's not I don't say I'm not an activist because I don't want I don't want the responsibility. It's because to be an activist, people put you have to be perfect. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And I think that if instead that we united on the actual issues instead of pointing fingers on who's doing what wrong, leave people where they're at too, because there's some people where you can't work with them. They're too far gone. But in reality, most people want the same thing. They're just going to have different experiences. And for us to really reunite, we have to realize my experience is different from your experience. And I know I'm way more radical. I'm a radical person. The first chapter of my book, we are blowing up a police station. So that's that's my radical behavior. And in 2016, I released the book. And through 2014 through 2017, I was on a rampage. I mean, I was on Facebook, I was on Instagram, I was going crazy, I was going insane. And then I realized that a lot of my people were not willing to meet me in this radical standpoint where I'm saying, pick up your arms and let's just go to town. And so I've had to tone myself down and meet people where they're at in the community and say, I hope in the next lifetime that we're ready to take up arms and burn this place down to the ground. But if we're not, if you know that most people are not willing to meet you at one spot, I think it's about just coming in the middle and saying, I can look past that difference, because at the end of the day, it's about overcoming white supremacy. Live your life as long as it's not harmful to the Black community. Mm-hmm. Live your life, but do your part.
Wow. Dr. Lisa, what do you think? What
Yeah, I want to jump in on what you just said, Cece. So one of the things that I got in there was like, you don't have to be an activist, but you have to act. Woo! You know, you have to see good.
That's good.
If we was in church right now, we would pass the offering plate. Pass that plate around. That was a word.
That part right there.
Okay. All right.
But you have to act.
You have to act. You have to do something. And it goes back to what Priscilla was talking about, intentionality. Being intentional, intentionally seeing the good. And what you were talking about, Tian, people looking at the looking at the negative in the business and seeing the scam and all that other stuff, right? Look for the good. Expect to see the good. Sometimes people say, I kind of have this, pie in the sky, rose-colored glasses kind of a way of life. I just believe in the general good of people until they prove me wrong. I'm not going to keep everybody this close, but I used to say, somebody didn't necessarily, some people got fired out of bad things, but you fire yourself by what you do. Well, when I meet you, how you act is how close we will become or how far we go. You know what I mean? And so if I am expecting the good in you, then that's what I'm going to look for until you show me something different. So if I go into a Black store, if I go into a Black school, if I go into a Black school.
He was shouting you out. I had to let you know he was shouting you out. He is rooting. He in the other room.
I love my husband.
He is shouting you out right now. Come on, somebody.
Go ahead, Mark.
But if you expect to see the good, then we will see it. We will be able to see it. There is room enough for everyone. There's enough resources out there. We don't have to, because she got this, I need this. He got that, I need that. No, there's enough out there for everyone. And so what Cece was talking about when she said, everybody doesn't have to think the same way or walk the same path, right? We don't have to be homogenous that way, but we have to be towards the common goal, the common good, the good of our family, the good of our community, the good of our people. Yeah. We have to look that way. And so when we don't, that's when you get all this chaos. Oh, no, I can't, he made the basketball team and I didn't. So now we have to be enemies. No. Right. Maybe he's a little better. Maybe he might be taller. Maybe that's what they needed on the team. Maybe I might need to practice a little bit more. Maybe this is not my team. Maybe I need to go over here because there's another team over there. Right. That goes back to knowing yourself, that self-awareness, and trusting yourself, trusting that ability that you have. If someone hasn't told you, anybody who is listening, if no one has told you, let me tell you, you have worth. You have so much good in you. You have untapped potential, and you got potential that people say, oh, baby, you need to do this. Oh, baby, you need to do that. But you also have people telling you, nah, I ain't seen nobody do that. No, you don't want to do that. You listen to the baby, I think you're good at this. Now, that might not be the thing that is the destiny for your life, but you have a destiny. Go on and try it and risk it, because let me tell you, life really is good. It's filled with challenges, yes, but life really is good and amazing, and we are good, amazing people. So find your community within your community, because we are good at this.
Come on and preach. I'm over here. Look, the comments is blowing up. Your husband said, preach. I am with him. It's absolutely amazing. And listen, I heard something in my head while you were talking. You were talking about how we treat opportunities like opportunities are scarce, right? And so when we see somebody else got an opportunity, now we're like, well, why they get and I didn't? Wait a minute. There was a time where there wasn't a lot of opportunity. Opportunity was the problem. But we're not in that time anymore, but we still have that mindset. So now the problem is not opportunity. The problem is activity. There is opportunity now. You're just not being active enough. You're not pursuing. You're not going after. Like Dr. Lisa said, you're allowing people to tell you you can't, or you won't, or you won't have. We no longer have a lack of opportunity. Now, in our community, we have a lack of activity. We just got to get at it, y'all. Wow, this is amazing and powerful stuff. I'm loving this. So let me just, let's do this. This will be the last question I ask, and then we'll move to our final thoughts. How can we implement this? How can we implement this? How can we move forward in this vein of Black unity? How can we move forward? How can we implement this so that we can begin to rise up and be more and do more in our communities?
Well, I'm gonna jump in here first.
Come on.
So again, I keep going back to the trust of yourself. You have to have a relationship with yourself. You have to know the good, the not so good. You have to know the things that you just have to know yourself and learn yourself and spend time with yourself. And over time, you will change, but that's okay. Keep spending time with yourself to know who you are, because if you have a relationship with yourself, you can have a relationship with other people, right? And so everything starts in the home. Things grow in the home, things die in the home. So if you trust yourself and then you get into a relationship with someone else and you can trust that person, and then you have, you build up these little trusts, right? You got these little trusts looking at y'all, and they see the trust, and then they go get on the bus and they meet somebody else who they start to trust. And then we got all these other little trusts on the bus, and then they go into the school, and it just keeps going on and on. So we have to start at home, speaking life to ourselves, speaking life in our community. And I think that is where we start.
Wow, that's powerful. Cece, what can we do? How can we build this Black unity?
I'm definitely going to kind of piggyback off of Dr. Lisa. I definitely believe that it starts at home. I know for me, I have a mindset that most of my peers don't have. My mom always told me I was beautiful. I was called the N-word when I was 5 years old at a park. So, I mean, since I could write, I've been writing paragraphs and essays on Black inventors. So the whole new concept of Black excellence have existed for me forever, because I wasn't blind to it and my mom didn't depend on the public education system. So if you are a parent, I say start there, because I mean, I've done so much in my life, and it's because my mom spoke life into me, and she showed me those books and the history books that showed me that we've always been doing amazing things. So I've never had that gap. In addition to that, I think it's really about similar as finding your tribe. I've found a group of people who think like me in some ways, but they also challenge me in other ways. So, you know, I used to be really radical, but in meeting some new members of my tribe around 2017, I became way more accepting. I became more loving, where it allowed me to tackle Black issues in a way where it wasn't going to get us all massacred. So, like, you know,
because you was ready.
I'm with you, girl. Look, I'm locked and loaded. Where we going?
She getting the blue vest and the
hoodie on. Look,
she was like, Cece, what you doing? I'm bringing it in the white supremacy. That's what I'm doing. Cece was ready.
Man, by myself, but no. But
An army of one. She was like, I'll go to the cap. Let's go. I'm taking them down.
You know, and speaking of the Capitol, everybody was left. I just can't believe they had the audacity to raid the Capitol before every other group in America. Like, get in line. But that's off topic.
Like, it's like, first of all, we should have been first, but we don't know what would have
been there.
Would have been a massacre.
But it would have been a massacre. So,
right? But everybody would have understood. They'd have been like, "Oh, the blacks finally got tired." Okay,
right.
That makes sense.
But I do think it takes finding your tribe, and it definitely takes starting home. But I also tell people, don't put it all on the next generation. Make sure that you are still doing your part, because we do want it to be better for our children.
That's awesome. Priscilla, how do we get this Black unity thing going in our communities?
You know what? It starts with one foot in front of the other foot, in front of the other foot, each individual. Just to echo Dr. Lisa, Sister Cece, at the end of the day, I wrote in my notes, I said, first having unity with God, then having unity with self, then having unity within your family, branching out to the community, branching out to the nation, branching out to the world. So there has to be a coming into your purpose and the plan in your life of why you're here. Why are you here? What difference are you supposed to make? And are you walking in making that difference? We're all called for a purpose and a plan to do something great. It was never God's intention that this had to be something that's going to get all this popularity and famous. I mean, even if it's you walking through this world and you speak into a little child, just letting them know how beautiful they are. Words matter. How do we get there? Words matter. Our words, be intentional on what you say to people. Be intentional on making sure that you speak life into people, because it starts with someone showing that they care, that they believe in them, that they will go the extra mile. Like I said, I cannot impact people unless I build relationships with those people, that they'll know that I'm coming from a pureness, a pure of heart, that I'm not coming because I'm trying to get something from you, but I'm trying to give you something. So unity is only going to come when we can all come to that. And you got to meet people like Sister Cece said, and as well as Dr. Lisa, at their level. Everybody is at different levels. What I may say to Sister Cece to impact her is totally different of what I'll say to Dr. Lisa. You have to be wise enough and discerning enough to know when to say, what to say, to whom to say it. And that's where you start to make a difference. And again, you don't have to be an actor. I love that. You don't have to be an activist to be active in making a difference, one day at a time, one step at a time, just showing up. So that's how we can bring the power of unity back in the community.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to get ready to start to wrap up this conversation. I have loved every second of it. I'm so thankful to have had the panelists that I have. I've been blessed, man. You guys have honestly blessed this panel discussion. So thank you so much. One of our tenets here at the Centers for Black Excellence is to support the efforts of other nonprofits that are looking to build and grow the Black community. That's one of our main tenets. And so what I'd like to do right now, before we finish up, is I'd like each one of our panelists to talk to you about what they are involved in and how you can help or support. So Dr. Lisa, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about your organization, what you're involved in, what you do, and how we can help or support.
Okay, I'm the CEO of DH Elevation Consulting. I am a life coach specifically for 17 to 30-year-olds. I have 3 separate coaching programs, and basically it's my honor to guide them in being the leader of their own life as they walk into full-fledged adulthood. So that's what I really enjoy doing. I'm also a human development trainer, so that's like the soft skills stuff. And coming very soon, in a matter of weeks, my first book, which is
Hey.
joining you, Cece, a little different kind of radical, but it is a guide for parents of 11 to 14-year-old girls, or those who have impact on 11 to 14-year-old girls. It's basically a year-long set of conversations from everything from sexuality to integrity to spirituality to money to all of this. So how to have those conversations. I give some stories, how I did with I took my daughter through this year-long process when she was 12, and so you all be on the lookout for that. And I'm very excited about that. I am also on Talk to the Coaches, which is a coaching network. It's the 3rd Saturday of every month, and it's just an opportunity for people to come in and find out a little bit more about coaching. And just there are so many different kinds of coaching on there, and people think coaching is, oh, that's fluff, or that's something that people who have disposable income use. But no, we've been going through a lot, especially this past year, and we all need a little bit of help every now and then. And so, so we have Talk to the Coaches for them to come on over and learn about coaching and how it can support them and help them. So
that is incredible. Is there a website or anything, and how can people help?
So DH Elevation on Facebook, on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel, on Instagram and Twitter, and let's see, www.dhelevation.com.
Awesome. And I'm very, very interested in that book. We have a whole segment of our nonprofit that's devoted to youth, and I think that would be powerful and amazing. So, Dr. Lisa, we're going to stay in touch. I think that's amazing. Okay, thank you so much. Now, on to, you guys heard me talking about a book a few times. I'm getting this book. I'm ordering this book. As soon as we get off this panel discussion, I'm ordering this book, and I'll let the author herself tell you about it. So, Cece, tell us a little bit about what you're into, what you're a part of, and this book that I'm definitely going to order, and the next one that's coming up.
All right. So first I'll touch on the book, because that's me at Cicely Ruan Studios, which is my creative organization. It's not a nonprofit. But with the book, it's a revolutionary tale about a radical group determined to eliminate white supremacy. It focused on the 5 pillars that I believe that it takes to overcome white supremacy, which is having a vision, having a plan, having that financial awareness and security, having that social awareness, and then as well as innovation, which bridges the gaps between the generations. It also touches on other issues that are kind of in there throughout the characters, from colorism to sexuality to how you present yourself as a woman. Like, all those inner things are touched on, and kind of show those little small inner conflicts that kind of go on between us in the community. When I'm not writing or watching anime, I am a program manager for a nonprofit called BT Foundry. Their sister company is Brass Tats Collective. We're basically a nonprofit creative agency where we create an experience not just for our clients, but also for apprentices through our apprenticeship program. So for me, for an example, I'm a college dropout, got into copywriting, got into marketing. I did not have any of the experience. This program seeks to bridge that and give you that 1 to 2 year experience you need to actually obtain a job in digital marketing or work for yourself. And we pay you, it's a learning environment. So we basically pay you to come in, try, potentially fail, but you get a living wage. We start you out at $15 an hour. And then you also have the opportunity for a promotion. It's a 1 to 2 year program. And you can study things from strategy, graphic design, copywriting, project management, account management, and UX UI, which is website design. So those 2 things are my hearts. BT Foundry is owned and founded by Keisha Whaley, but she's been my mentor, and her giving me that opportunity has really caused me to be her champion and to organize behind this this organization, BT Foundry, because I believe we can do great things in Dallas, and making sure that, I always say coding boot camps are to me the next call centers. So I want to make sure that in the tech space, in the creative tech space, that minorities, specifically Black people, get the opportunity to come in and express their creativity, to make sure that we are well represented in ads and marketing and in branding. And in addition to that, we also offer cheap, I wouldn't say cheap, but we believe that nonprofits and startups, they deserve good work because they need to have their visions heard. So we, using that, the labor of the apprenticeship, we make sure that they get that quality work, because all the apprentices' work are overseen by the professionals. We make sure they get that quality work that they deserve to get their missions and organizations heard through branding, marketing, social media. And we mainly have primarily worked with minority startups in that arena.
Now that's really, really powerful, and I'm glad you mentioned that. And I don't know, have you put that out on the Blacks in Nonprofit Facebook page? Because I feel like you would get like 700 comments in the comments because that is huge. I think I'm about to call you up when this is over. Like, all right, Cece, tell me more about what y'all do over there. That is fantastic.
The only reason why I haven't put in a channel yet is because the apprenticeship doesn't start till June. So that opportunity for that are us to start back up with that work. Right now I'm doing a boot camp. So I wanted to make sure that people that probably weren't qualified for the apprenticeship still have an opportunity. So we created a boot camp that gives those people the opportunity to spend 12 weeks with us, so that you do also have the opportunity to come in and be a part of the apprenticeship, because like many companies are doing, we don't want to turn you away for not having that experience.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I'm so moved by this, and I am not the only one. Wow, that's powerful content. I suggest we buy 2 or 3 copies of the book. Let's go, Kev. One for ourselves and others to share with the community. Let's go, Kev. I'm all about that. In fact, this was going to be a surprise, but on that topic, the Centers for Black Excellence will be buying a bunch of copies of your book so that we can distribute them out in the community. So we're all about that, man. It's definitely happening. Yeah, we're not playing no games around here. We all about that support. Okay, awesome. Now, not to last, but certainly not least, we have our third panelist, Priscilla Harris. Priscilla, can you tell us a little bit about your organization, what it is that you're doing, and how in the world we can be a part?
First, I want to say I really want to thank you for this opportunity, and it has been an honor to be on this panel with Dr. Lisa and Sister Cece. It really has. I am a co-founder of the Love Gifts team, which is it's a special donor community, and basically we took something that was typically known as a gifting circle, and we created something. We brought it to the next level. So basically what we did, we took that concept and created an algorithm that would allow you to donate to assist the Black community. As a matter of fact, we partner with CBE, the Centers for Black Excellence. And by participating as a donor, what happens is not only you will have an opportunity to gain reward credits that you can actually redeem when you need those funds to do whatever passion you may, whether it's supporting you personally or a local organization that you're passionate about, but it also impacts the 3 main visions or goals for the Centers for Black Excellence, which is a scholarship fund, branding, and putting it out there that there has to be unity in the Black community, as well as home ownership. So one of the things that LGT, that's what we refer to as Love Gifts Team LGT, we also are advocates for financial resources. We really focus on making sure that people understand how to get really good credit or credit score, how to budget their money, how to invest. We do workshops that we offer and we put out there as videos that they can utilize at any time. But that's exactly what we do with the Love Gifts team. You can go to the website, www.lovegiftsteam.com. We do meetings twice a week on Mondays and on Fridays to explain what the process is, how it works. We want to educate you. We want you. We are a great advocate for education. We want to make sure that before you get involved in any opportunity, you have to be knowledgeable about what you're getting into. So we make sure that everybody's informed to be a part of something great as this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Listen, this has been an absolutely incredible time. I want to say a very special thank you to each one of our panelists. Dr. Lisa, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Cece, an amazing author. I cannot wait to get my hands on your book. I'm also letting you know that I am going to pre-order your new book when it comes out, personally and through our organization. I'm telling you, we got your back. And Priscilla, thank you again for being a part of this broadcast. Love Gift Team sounds amazing. I happen to know about it myself personally because you guys decided to use your organization to help support the mission of the Centers for Black Excellence because you saw what we were doing. So I thank you. That is absolutely incredible. So thank you for doing that. I thank every last one of you that tuned in and watched today's panel discussion. When you guys get a chance, jump back on Facebook and read through these comments. Amazing comments. I couldn't even get them all up on the screen. It was just so much awesome content in the comment section. So do yourself a favor, come back and take a look at this and see what some of the people are saying. But thank you again. We'll be right back here again next week on Tuesday. We have another panel discussion coming your way, so be on the lookout for that. If you're not following us on Facebook yet, please just run up there to the top of the page. Go ahead and follow us so you can stay posted on everything that's going on. And with that, on behalf of myself, the Centers for Black Excellence, and all of our panelists, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We want to wish you all a wonderful night. God bless you. We need unity.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, listen, by the way, I meant to say this. I'm sorry. Special note to all of our panelists. I want to thank you so much for being one of our panelists. We are going to send you one of our official shirts. This is one of the ways that we spread the message of Black unity in the Black community. So you will be getting our Black unity in the Black community official t-shirt. It's awesome. If you would like one of these t-shirts and you don't happen to be one of our panelists, but you want to support the effort of what we're doing here, feel free to go over to our website. We make you do the work. It's called the Centers for Black Excellence.org. I ain't abbreviating nothing. Do the work. The Centers for Black Excellence.org. Head over there. Get yourself a t-shirt. It supports the efforts of what we're doing as a nonprofit. In fact, the next couple of t-shirt purchases are going to support us picking up more copies of Cece's book. So thank you so much. We appreciate every last one of you. I'm going to ask each one of you to email me directly so that I'll know where to send your shirts. To the rest of you, go to our website, order your shirt. We'll get it out to you right away. Thank you so much. You all have an absolutely wonderful night.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you, sisters. Bye.